Hello, welcome to another episode. As you can see, I have made a lot of progress on our French garden. So the hedge maze is done. We have a little statue in the middle. We have a lot of trees and lots of flowers and stuff. Like I've said before, there will be a smooth stone surface here. Kinda a similar pattern to the road that we just covered this whole area. Okay, so we have one statue here. And here we have some hedge tunnels. And we have the little area up here. We are leaving this side here and the side that goes on that over there for later. As you can see, here's the hedge maze. And here's a statue. It's a kneeling character with some wings. And as you can see here, I've started on our English garden as well. So we have paths going all around. Here we will have an open grassy area. Over here we have the Conservatory. I wanted to build it with some different colors compared to our main castle, but still in a similar style. So it's still kinda gothic, but you have the black and beige rather than just grey. And in here I'm gonna add some hanging flowers like this, but in here as well as up here. And this path goes across here. And around. I'm gonna put in some nice railing here later. And here it leads back to the main road path from the entrance to the castle. As you can see, I'm almost finished all the trees here. Should have that done soon. And if you go up here, you get to what will be the pavilion, which is obviously not done, but it will be here. And that is our garden so far. A few days ago, I came back here and I wanted to turn on my flower farm. And I went and I clicked the button. And you know what happened? Not very much. Because with 1.16 some redstone had changed. And that had affected this machine here, which is basically the interface through which I control all farms that we have here. So you select it, the farm you're interested in this book. Then if these lights are on, and this one, the farm is on. Where's the slime farm off? Oh, did I switch too quick maybe? This should all be on, yeah. And blue should be off. Yeah, okay. Wool is off too, yeah. Melon on. Yeah, okay. Creeper. Is the creeper farm off? I am being confused now. Huh. It's off. Why is it off? This is a good question. Because it should be on. Okay, and that should have moved our block here. Yep, it's now on. Okay, everything's fine. So, this thing was, like I said, broken, but I did manage to fix it. But it was quite frustrating because I wasn't sure where it was broken, but I did manage to isolate the issue and fix it. So let's jump into a test world and I can show you. Okay, here we are. My test world. And this is... Ignore everything else. Okay, this is our selector here. Without anything connected to it, it's just the base machine. So I realized that the problem lies here, because as you can see, none of these torches is on. One should always be on. Never more than one, but always one. So it should be this one. Should be on. And it would be in 1.15, but with 1.16, a redstone that looks like this points towards a block will power this block, which means that this redstone powers this block, which powers this repeater, which turns off the light. Whereas before, this block would only be powered if this redstone was on. And so I had to fix that. And to fix that, what I did was I took these 3 blocks here, so the one with the repeater, the one, and the 2 here with the redstone dust, and I lowered them 1 block. So as you can see, there's dust now goes directly into the repeater. And then I put another repeater here, but it's one down, right, because we lowered it. So there's a repeater under this, which points into a block with the torch on top, rather than it pointing into this block that have the torch on the side. So as you can see, the 2 repeaters into this. And this means that when you have this pattern here, where this is on, but this is off, the torch is on. And that pattern will only occur at one point across the line. I didn't rebuild the whole thing here because I didn't need to, I just needed to figure out how to fix it. And so here it is, the solution. And in case you don't remember, what happens is that when one of these torches is on, you can just, there we go, it's on, it raises this block here, which means that oh, I haven't reset it. So when you change here, it resets and it pushes down all blocks except the one that it can't. But yeah, okay. So only one block is connected to this, and this is the button input. So the button input goes through here and tries to go through all of this, but you can only go through this one, which means that that block, now these had been turned on before, but so now if we click the button, the block that is here gets moved across, and here we have this kind of pattern. So this block now powers this, which turns this off, and we can take the output from anywhere here. We could take it, if it's a dust, we can take it with a repeater out there, we can take it from the torches, we can take it from the blocks above these blocks here, we could, yeah, that's basically it. Or above these torches, I suppose. But yeah, so that's the output on this side here, but it also sends a signal through here, and this signal goes and it controls the lights, which means that like only one of these will be up at one point, right? So the lights can only be turned off by one of these here, and if that, the block that corresponds to, the machine that's turned on, so this block is on this side, it will be powered and the lights will be on. And that's it. So I thought that we could build some farms, starting with a farm for the new tree types, the nether trees. So this is what we have. So you plant your tree and it gets pushed out. And eventually that happens. So all right. Yeah, good. So what we have here is a mess. Let me clean this up and show what it actually looks like. There we go. So what we have is, we have these trapdoors. They are simply to prevent the leaf things to spawn in these slots or these block areas, so that we don't get pushed down and so that we still have access to our lever back there, which is very basic. It switches these out so that this one is closer than this one, and it swaps two netherrack blocks out beneath here so that you can just, so that you get a fresh one that you can just bone meal and get the new one. I don't know if the other one switched yet. Yeah, it has. What? Oh, because that one is... Okay, that is a glitch in the system, no one saw that. Right, so we have a huge line of pistons. That's not actually that huge, but it's a tower of pistons. And the way we power them is every 3 blocks we have 2 yellow blocks. Doesn't matter the color, I suppose, with redstone on them. And when something grows, this signal can go through the log, which goes here. This reduces the length of the pulse, which powers this piston, which raises all these blocks, which in turn powers all these pistons. And this block also goes through this up here, powers this piston, which pushes them down. So we can take a little button, put here, so that's what happens there. And yeah, this lever simply goes down here and powers this piston, and this piston, and then it powers this piston. So yeah, it doesn't work if well, you get the issue with this if you switch between them too quickly, but yeah, other than that, no problem. Okay, and what this happens over here is we have a wall of pistons. These are the blocks, they get pushed along here. When they get to this block, the signal goes through, and this shortens the pulse, which powers this piston and does the exact same thing as on the other side. And then we have a repeater just to have delay for this piston. It means that the top 2 rows of pistons here are slightly slower, but that's not an issue, so that's fine. The problem is that otherwise, if we didn't do it like this, we would need to have 2 more blocks on this tower, and you can't push that much with the piston. And I suppose there could be some way around this. Like, I'm not sure how we could power this piston without powering this. I don't think we could. So, whatever. It's fine. But yes, that's how it works, and it creates this giant block of wood and these leaves. It also works with oak trees, that's why you can see some oak in here. It does not work with other wood types though, which is why I did this. So this is it's really hard to like change to like custom the spruce trees. You would have to basically rebuild the whole thing in a different way. But in the future, since spruce is like our most used wood, I thought it would be nice to have a spruce farm, and we need a double piston extender for that. So every 3 blocks you would have one of these, which just does that. So if the tree grows there, it just pushes it out. I just realized, can you grow a spruce tree right next to a spruce log? I do not know actually. Where do we find our spruce? There it is. Yeah, okay, no problem then. Okay, our new farm has been built. Oh, it's night. Where's my bed? Yeah, so the tree farm is done. I've made some minor modifications in like here is the main modification. This block used to be there and these two were here, which powered 3 of them. But the problem was that if like the bottom one was like QC powered, like quasi connectivity powered, whatever. So if this piston here couldn't push, this one wouldn't get updated and the bottom row wouldn't get pushed, which wouldn't update this and make all these push. So if we had something like this here, this one couldn't push, which meant that this one wouldn't push, which means that this would never get powered. But that's fixed now by simply moving the redstone block one up and just doing a wire like that. What else have I fixed or changed rather? Not much, or actually nothing, I think. Yeah, that's all. Oops. So, as you can see, I've tested the machine and it seems to work as it should. And we're out of bone meal. So that is what we have. So to provide fungi for our nether tree farm, we have this. You decide, do you want crimson or do you want warped? And then you put in your bone. And then it does its thing. And it makes me laugh every time because it's just ridiculous. I was gonna make like a proper farm first, like a reasonable one, but then somewhere while trying to come up with one, I stumbled upon this, then it was too hilarious not to build. So it's not the best. It doesn't collect anything, just bone meals and smashes it, and that's that. So it's very simple. There's some access to the redstone down here. So we have a clock there, a clock here. This goes up to the pistons. And here's the same clock on this side for the other one. So we have two separate outputs from the two dispensers, which decides which clock to trigger, and both just trigger this one. That's that. It's pretty simple. It's actually extremely simple. But yeah, it works and it's funny. So that's a plus. Okay, and then I realized when I was working on our garden that we had no ferns. So I went out to collect some ferns. Then I built this. So the way this works is, it says here, you put your fern, the fern in the left hand, the shears in the right hand, then you right click to place, and left click to shear. So you click left, right click, right click, left click, and so on and so forth when this is on. And you have bone meal here that you put in, and then it will just make 1 into 2. And it's that. And over here I built this. So this is a vine farm. So we have warped on this side, crimson on this side. So here when they grow down, trigger the observers, pistons get extended, and then there are hopper minecarts underneath. And opposite here. That stuff gets collected here, and that is controlled through our control room over here. So, another vine farm. Click the button if the light is on here, and then if the machine is on. If I click the button, it will turn the machine off. And you can see that. If we go all the way down, so the machine is now off. Huh, I made a mistake in the wiring. Well, this one is off at least. It's probably just a missed repeater or something down here. I'll fix that. But yeah, so that's how it works. It wasn't a missed repeater. There's simply no redstone here. So that is interesting. That's obviously not gonna work. I place basically all my redstone on cobblestone, because then I know that as soon as I see cobblestone in the wild, like when I'm digging anywhere, I know that I've made something on top of it, because cobblestone don't really generate by itself. Okay, that seems good. And let's see that. And now those are extended too. Perfect. I do, however, try to keep all visible redstone on white concrete, because that looks really clean. So, I have finished the garden. We have a French garden on this side, and an English garden on this side. So, as you can see, there are lots of flowers. And this is a custom tree here. All of these type of trees are of course custom. And this tree is a custom tree. The rose garden here is now done with some nice patterns. The hedge maze with a bit of a viewing thing up here, so you can look at the maze and stuff. People in it. We have a statue here of the kneeling person with some wings. This platform is now done as well. We have a big statue in the middle of a person or something with a big robe or something like that, and held up by these smaller guys. And they got like a spear and these big wings that curve. So it looks like from the back. Didn't really get the shape of the character itself very as I wanted. It's really hard to do with at this small scale. But yeah, it's good enough. Okay. Then we have lots of pots and stuff. And this is some targets and a bow and a crossbow. This is the kind of feeling we have here. A little pond. Here's our conservatory. And finally, we have a little pavilion at the very top where you can sit down, relax, and have some tea. And in the next episode, we're gonna finish this central structure here that goes over here down to this semicircle back here. And you see these little squares here at the bottom where the floor will be. Those are the pillars for that will support the tower, the main tower, the crossing tower, which is called in cathedrals, and that will be the tallest part of the whole castle. It will go all the way up to build limit. And if we check here, this goes up to 193-ish. So it would be about 60 blocks taller. So that would be a very big tower. And then, yeah. Then we're gonna move our way back through the castle until it's all the way back here. So, yeah, it will take a while, but we'll get it done eventually. And down here we have some maps. So later there will be like some catacombs or something down here, and this room in here will be part of that. And this is where we're documenting our progress. And here I've been writing a lot of ideas and stuff. So yeah, lots of notes and stuff. Like notes for pages of books. Yeah. I might like clean that up and add the actual books are later, but for now I know. So it's okay. So down here I added these 3 maps a bit later because I didn't take maps of these 3 before when I did the first 3x3, because I didn't realize the garden would be that big. So these are a bit later, so you can see it doesn't really add up in this region here, but apart from that it's fine. You can just see that I had started to plan out the wall, but yeah, it's basically like it was. And then here you can see what it is like now. So a pretty drastic difference here. And also a lot of progress were made over here in the last few episodes. Or episode, probably singular. And yeah. See you in the next episode where we build the main part of the castle.